You are listening to a podcast by the Little School of Happiness. My name is Sandra Hayes and I'm your host. Here you will find episodes on all the Vedic teachings like yoga, Ayurveda and Vedic astrology. For more information about me and my offerings, please go to sandrahayes.eu, or if you're in Germany, sandrahayes.de. Hello again and welcome to another episode about the nakshatras. Today, as the moon is in Krittika Nakshatra, I will be talking to you about that particular constellation. It's a very interesting constellation. It means the one who cuts, but the cutting is not meant in any harmful way, so not to worry about it. But instead, it's all about cutting away illusion. Krittika Nakshatra is the third of the nakshatras, and because each nakshatra spans about 13 or exactly 13 degrees and 20 minutes, and it's the third nakshatra, so you will find it in the range between 26 degrees and 40 minutes Aries, and then moving over from Aries to Taurus, and it ends at 10 degrees Taurus. So it actually spans two zodiac signs, Aries and Taurus. And its planetary ruler is Surya, the sun. So Surya, and also the deity is Agni, the god of fire. And so that means there's a lot of fire element in it, and its symbol is a knife or a blade or a razor. And it carries in it the power to burn, to purify, and to transform. And this is very interesting in this nakshatra because it is literally about cutting through illusion. It's separating that which is not the truth, or which does not serve us, from that which does. So for those of you who have moon in Krittika or any important planet in Krittika, this is it's like you could liken it, I suppose, with the birth. While before in Ashwini, which was Ketu ruled, the headless demon who doesn't actually really exist, but is just a shadow. And then, this starts to manifest. This is just an idea. And then it starts to manifest in the womb. And in the womb, it's shaped and forged into a being. But in Krittika, it's born. It's being brought out into the light. And often, when we're born, the light can be quite harsh. It's the harsh light of reality. And it's the edge, the blade that cuts away, what we no longer need. And it's the fire that purifies. So that's not always comfortable. And also it takes courage to be born, to look at the truth, to really, be very honest with oneself. Takes a lot of courage and clarity and willpower. And it takes the willingness to go through discomfort as well. Because that's, fire is not exactly comfortable. Fire is really forcing us to transform, to grow up, to see reality, to accept reality as it is, and to act in a real way, in an authentic, real way with intention. So Krittika energy is really sharp and piercing and illuminating. And there are a lot of really beautiful deeper archetypal meanings in Krittika as well, which explain a lot of its really fiery intensity. Because Krittika is, every nakshatra has a caste system as well. So what kind of, just to explain the energy and what lies behind it. And Krittika is coming from the kshatriya, from the warrior caste, and it is connected to being like a spiritual warrior. Here we are really fiery and active, and we're going toward a goal, and we're trying to achieve that goal. And we're trying to, a warrior in the best sense, in the positive sense, is someone who kills the demons, who kills the intruders, who takes away anything that is not meant to be here, to protect the real self, the truth. And so is Krittika. So the Krittika stars, they have a really beautiful story behind it. And that story, it's a mythology from the Vedic scriptures, and it's about a demon, as it often is. It's a very powerful demon called Tarakasura. And this demon had received a boon, some gift from someone that made him invincible. The only person that would be able to kill him was the son of Shiva. But Shiva didn't at that time have any sons. So as this demon was tormenting the world and terrorizing everyone, the gods were getting desperate because they needed to get Shiva to have a son, to make love with his wife and get her pregnant and produce a son before, this demon would destroy the whole world. But Shiva, as he was immersed in a really deep meditation. He had completely withdrawn from the world because he was in mourning for his first wife, Sati. But he was completely withdrawn. And I actually think that he might not even have been with Parvati at that stage. He was still in mourning over his first wife, Sati. And he was completely by himself. So he had absolutely no interest in making love to anyone, and had no interest in creation, and let alone being a father. So the gods were quite desperate about that, because they really needed Shiva to begin to create a son. So they conspired, and with the help of Parvati, who actually was the reincarnation of his departed wife, of his first wife Sati, they finally, and I think also Kama, the god of love, had a role to play in it as well. So finally they stirred his interest, and he woke up from his meditation, and they made love, and they made such passionate love that some of his semen, as he ejaculated, was spilled out from the heavens and down to earth. But that seed that was so full of passion and so full of fire, it was far too hot and too powerful for the earth to handle. So even the earth goddess, Bhumi, she could not hold it. It was too hot for her. So she threw it into the waters of the sacred river, the Ganga river. And from here, the river carried it to a lake, to some celestial lake. And there it was split into 6 parts. And these 6 parts they were glowing like fire. They were made of fire. They were like babies, children, but they were made of fire. And each of them had a real fire energy in them, like a divine warrior energy. And these 6 children, then they were discovered by the Krittika goddesses. And these were 7 star sisters. They were in the sky, and they're actually associated with the Pleiades. And they were really moved by them, and they fell in love with the children, and it stirred their motherly instinct. And each of these star goddesses took in one of the children and raised him as if it was their own. They fed him, and they were stars, so it's, like the sun is a star as well. They're full of fire themselves, so they fed him on fire and gave them a huge amount of strength and passion and courage and all the things that are connected to fire, and so prepared them for their destiny. And eventually Parvati then took all these 6 babies and merged them into one. So there was one really radiant boy, and he had 6 faces, though. He kept his 6 faces, one for each of the Krittikas, each of the foster mothers. And this divine child that became Skanda, or also known as Kartikeya. And he became the god of war. And he then was the commander of the celestial army, and he would eventually go, still being a child though, but with all these divine powers, he would eventually go on to destroy the demon. Not because he was raging or he was angry, but because he was in complete alignment with his calling. He was born to do that. So he did his duty. He did what he was called to do. And he had a lot of love in him as well. So it wasn't just destructive war. It was war out of fierce maternal love. And the fight was not to gain anything, but for balance, to restore the balance. And so he did. So he restored the balance, and that symbolism is very strongly in Krittika Nakshatra. Anyone who has their moon or any important planet in Krittika, they will, deal in some way, shape or form with the themes of Krittika Nakshatra. And those themes are fire. So the fire that burns and that purifies. And Krittika is ruled by Agni, by the fire god. And fire is really central to all Vedic rituals because it transforms. And Agni is also the fire that we have inside of us. It's our digestive fire. And it's both physical, so when we eat food and we take it in, and then our digestive fire, so first our stomach acid and our enzymes and everything breaks it down, so it cuts through it, cuts it into smaller and smaller pieces, and it consumes it, and then it throws out, it cuts away what we don't need. So that is Krittika, that is the digestive fire of Krittika. And the same thing happens mentally as well. So we take things on that are, we take nourishment not only through the mouth, but also through our 5 senses, very subtle nourishment. And in our nervous system, we also have Agni, we also have a certain digestive fire that helps us to process everything that we experience in life. And if our Agni burns brightly, if we have a strong Agni, then we can digest anything. We can digest food and we get strong. We can digest experiences, process experiences, not get traumatized easily or overwhelmed and stressed. And that is because we have a good Agni. And this is what Krittika gives us. It's very sacred fire. It's purposeful, sacred fire. It's not destructive fire. So Krittika brings truth, but it brings the truth even when it's uncomfortable, and it cuts through illusion. And even the name itself, it means, the cutter. It cuts cords as well. It severs attachments. It helps us facing reality, especially when we've been clinging to something that doesn't actually support our growth anymore. And this is a very important nakshatra as well, because we cannot achieve any happiness or, hope to achieve happiness if we're not really honest with ourselves and really, live a life of integrity and truth and authenticity. And it's not always easy. It's not always, we need a lot of courage in order to really face the truth and not live according to our inner demons. So this, we all have inner demons. We all have whatever trauma, whatever childhood experiences, whatever ancestral shadows that we have inherited. We all have inner addictions maybe, or attachments to things that are not really good for us. And these are the inner demons that have the power over us. But Krittika cuts them away. Krittika is the warrior that really slays those inner demons and is really fierce and just heads straight for the truth. And they can be sharp as well in their speech, but that's because their role is to pierce through the fog of confusion or not being honest, or, they are honest. They're fiercely honest. And also the part about the 7 or the 6 or 7 Krittika goddesses that raised the war god. Sometimes it's 6, I think, and sometimes it's 7. I'm not quite sure. If anyone knows exactly, then please do let me know. But these goddesses, they raised a war god, and they raised him with fire, with tough love, with passion. And so they represent a kind of maternal figure as well, maternal fire. So very protective and very disciplined, and really capable as well of guiding others and making them strong. So this can show up as people who are maybe spiritual warriors or therapists, because therapists are the ones that cut through illusion as well, or that guide us into the truth and help us sever our attachment to our inner demons, or coaches, or protectors, or leaders in other regards that help others finding their inner truth. And then it's also about the right timing, but not like, it's not impulsive like Ashwini, and it's not patient like Bharani. It acts when the time is right, but once the decision is made, it's decided, it acts. So it's goal-oriented. And because of goal-oriented way and this, cutting away things and purifying things, making a clear choice, it's also about cleansing and fasting and purifying, and maybe, doing an Ayurvedic cleanse on a day of Krittika. And also it's about boundaries. It's about, committing to the truth, to this is my truth. And if I have to say no, or if I have to disappoint someone in order to stay true to myself, then so be it. So this is what Krittika teaches us. And also the fire element of Krittika gives us or teaches us that transformation, most of the time, it's rare that transformation comes gently upon us. It often begins with a real discomfort, and it leads us often through a real dark night of the soul. And this is necessary for something essential to be revealed. And if we want to work with that energy, with Krittika energy, then We can work with fire. We can do a little fire ritual. We could, if we have the space, light a small fire, sit with it, breathe, and ask, what is this fire asking me to let go of? And if you don't have, a fireplace, then a candle will do as well. So, but we can meditate, or we can go inward and ask, what am I ready to offer into the flame for transformation? And maybe we can then write down what we want to release and then burn it safely, of course, as a symbolic act. And also, Krittika really supports honest and very direct communication. So if you've been avoiding something, to speak the truth, or a conversation that might be uncomfortable, this is a good time for it. So we can ask ourselves, what truth is there that really needs to be spoken? And how can I express it with a lot of clarity and care as well? And also, Krittika loves cleansing, physically, emotionally, energetically, so we can use that day for decluttering a room, or sorting out things, saying goodbye to this, old pair of pants that are two sizes too small since 5 years, and I've kept it in the back of the wardrobe. And yes, I am speaking for myself here. So, but this is a good time to just sort things out and give things away that we don't need. And, maybe smudging and cleansing and doing anything. I like to do a cleansing ritual as well for myself when I'm not just cleaning the house, but cleansing the house. I have a very special blend then of homemade cleaning liquid that I make myself with essential oils, and it's like a sacred cleaning liquid that I use only for real special cleansing rituals, and then I smudge as well. And so it gives the feeling of really cleansing. And when you think, while you do it, when you think about the things that you want to cleanse away emotionally as well, then it really helps. It becomes a ritual then. And also, it's important to strengthen your boundaries. And this nakshatra is very fiercely about self-respect. So to remind us that boundaries are important. They're not walls that separate us from others, but they are containers that protect our inner truth. So maybe we can ask ourselves as well, where do I need stronger boundaries? Where am I leaking energy? Where am I giving my energy away? Where should I say no? And maybe we can channel our inner warriors, because sometimes warrior energy means just taking a stand and staying in my truth, and also walking away when I need to, or showing up for myself if I need to do something. So this is, something that we could, in all honesty, ask ourselves. Have we been allowing ourselves to be in situations that are not good for us for too long? Or have we been putting off something for too long that we really need to do because it's important for our inner truth? So these are all things that we can do. And just simple things like honoring the Agni, honoring the inner fire. We can do that by maybe using some Ayurvedic herbs that stoke the inner fire a little bit. And you can find a lot of the recipes in my book Radical Self-Love if you're interested in Ayurveda. Or you can simply, meditate on fire, or use the sunlight, get up early, use the sunlight, work with solar energy in any kind of visualization or ritual or meditation, and ask yourself, what is being burnt away? What clarity is rising? What part of me is being forged in this fire. And yeah, that is the energy of Krittika, and I hope that it was interesting for you and it brought a little bit of insight. And thank you for listening, and I will connect with you soon again. Bye for now. You were listening to a podcast by the Little School of Happiness. For more information, please go to sandrahayes.eu, or if you are in Germany, sandrahayes.de.